my name is Patrick Diebold, and today I'm going to show you how you, as a web design firm, can quickly generate a privacy policy and more for your end customer. So you can include all of those required documents on the website. You travel to GDPRWise.eu, you land on the homepage, and there's a big yellow button for you to get the process going. That brings you into our app. You should, of course, review our terms and conditions and our own privacy policy. And then we start with the wizard. First question is to understand where your customer is registered, in which country, as we have country-specific clauses. Next is to identify the companies by its details so that we can include that in the documents. And then the most important question here is, in which industry is your customer operating? Because all of our dossiers, all of the pre-filled content that we have is industry specific. There's the most commonly used ones at the top. There's more in the list, but you can also search. Imagine my end customer is a hotel. I select the hotel industry. And then the next step, on screen, I get presented a list of all the processing, all the activities that a typical hotel undertakes around customer data. And so that is key to go into the privacy policy, because key core requirement for GDPR is to inform customers about the processing you're undertaking. And so now up to you, potentially with the help of your customer, you review and align those activities to how the customer is operating. As an example, for COVID registration, you would review the details. Some core details here, but the focus really should be on the data items. And so as part of the COVID registration, does your customer merely enter customer name, personal phone number, or also maybe an email address, or only the email address and not the phone number, or maybe it also records other details. Imagine a home address. So there's a selection from a searchable list, and you can even create your own custom data items if it wouldn't feature in the list. So imagine I had the home address. And that's it. I've now aligned that process card to the way the customer really operates. There's a couple more details here. Retention period, security arrangements, the standard text in those. You can alter those if you want to. If you're not too sure, leave them as is. Save it. First card reviewed. And you would go through the other process cards. Customer is surely making reservations, it's having correspondence, etc., etc. So you go through the list, maybe not all in one sitting, but eventually go through the list. If a process card will not apply, you can just delete them. At the bottom, we suggest some other, maybe processes that not every hotel undertakes, but nevertheless, your customer might. So if you've implemented, for example, a newsletter, by all means, add that newsletter so we have it recorded in the customer dossier. If there's processes that we haven't yet captured, you know what, you can create your own custom process. So, and that's really the core of the work that we require you to do in order to input into the privacy policy. So next step is really to finalize your account so we can give you access to the full app to generate the documents. You all start in a free trial so you can test it out, only upgrade when needed. So last few details so that we can correctly identify you, and off you go. And that will take you to the full app with 3 dossiers. The customer dossier you've just initiated and drafted. Again, you can come back at any time. There's a staff dossier as well. If you want to use it, it's specific to the staff privacy policy. You don't have to use this at this stage, but you will need to do some work on the third-party dossier, because third parties are those parties where you share, or your customer rather, shares data with those third parties. For example, you have built a website. You might also be supporting that website. And so through your support, you might still have access to the database. And as a result, you can still view some of that customer data that is in there. So data is actually shared by you, or might even run on servers that you own or you operate. And so similar here, some core details. You would list the data items that you have access to, and then you would record yourself as a third party. If you're not yet on the list, you enter the details, or if you're in the list, you can select it yourself. The app can generate a data sharing agreement. If you think, hey, there's no need for that, we already have that, you can even upload it and you continue. And so first, third party is now in the third party dossier. It says, hey, as part of IT support, there's other parties, there's a third party that has access to data. And you would do the same for some other sharing activities. For example, in the case of a hotel, it might be using different SaaS tools. And so because the data runs on these guys, their servers, and you might have customer conversations on those, personal data is being shared. So booking is a good example. You would say, hey, these are the things, that the data elements that are on that platform, that live on that platform, and booking.com actually has access to it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter that we should be able to provide transparency to our customers that there's a third party involved that has access potentially to their data. No need for a data sharing agreement here because it would be part of the booking T's and C's already. Okay, and off you go. So you, as a web design firm, can definitely list yourself as a third party. Some of the web tools that you might even have implemented, some of the integrations like a HubSpot, that could all be nicely added. It's all in our list. And that should be good enough to start generating the documents. You can always give access to the customer later to our app so that the customer can add more information or refine. But for now, it should be good enough. You go to the GDPR document section and you can now generate your customer privacy policy. Click on the button. Software goes through all sorts and you can preview and download. Download in a number of formats, whatever is most suitable to you, to your means. And then equally preview. See, the preview gives you some gray boxes. That's not going to appear in the final download, it's just there for guidance. And you can see that we insert, of course, content from the dossier you've just created. It could be data items, could be process, could be sector-specific things, country-specific things. All of these good things are in there. And that's it, really. So you can do a customer privacy policy, you can generate a staff privacy policy if you want. You can even provide your customer with a GDPR register. And as mentioned, you can provide access to staff on the customer side to help out or even hand over the account altogether. That's it. Thank you for your time.